guys, it's time for another episode in my Makeup Through the Alphabet series. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these. Not gonna lie, but that's how it goes on my channel. Nothing is ever planned. I film what I want when I want, so that's what I want to film today. So for these shadows that were, actually, if you're new to this, basically what I do is that I pick up makeup that starts with the letter that I am on. So today we are going to be using only makeup starting with the letter M, and I don't count brands. Brands don't count. It has to be the actual name of the product. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'll show you what we're going to be using for eyeshadows today. So I've kind of hinted at this before, but I have a very good selection of shadows today, but the more I keep looking at this, the more I'm like, my matte selection sucks. Because this is a shimmer and all of these are shimmers. So we only really have 4 mattes and none of them really go together, and they also don't really go together with like the shimmers that I have going on here. So I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do today. I also do have quite a bit of fun like lipstick choices and blush and stuff like that. So I think today is going to end up being a fun look. Now, is it going to be cohesive? Am I going to have to take my earrings off after? Probably. But we're going to try to figure out something that's not maybe super boring. I feel like in all of these, all I end up doing is just like a smoky eye because it's easy with the matte and shimmers that I have. And I don't have to really think about it too much. But let's go ahead and start by priming. So I'm going to use my Smashbox Lid Primer in light here. Actually, you know what? Let me use another primer today. I'm going to use my Kaleidos primer instead because I try to save my Smashbox primer for when I'm trying out a new palette and stuff because it is the most reliable primer that I have, so I don't really want to use it in looks where I'm not testing out something new. Okay, so let's take a look at these. I feel like the most obvious thing for me to do is just to use the 2 greens in my crease. This is a neon from Terra Moon Cosmetics. This shadow doesn't really like blend into others very nicely, so I don't want to use these 2 in my crease. I know it might seem like a pretty obvious thing to do, but if I'm gonna mix this neon into anything, it's going to be a big mess, so I don't really want to do that. I could do this one in my inner corner and this one in my crease along with maybe that one, but even that would get kind of muddy. And then with like these shimmers, nothing would really go with it. Like, I'm very tempted to use like some of these blues and greens on my lid, but I don't really know how to pull that in. I feel like I'm lacking a little bit of depth. Maybe what I can do is I'll use this kind of dirty green in my crease and then deepen it up with this one. And then maybe deepen it up in the outer corner with this. I'm not really sure. I think maybe that's what I'll start with because I don't really have, I feel like I'm kind of limited despite having like so many shadows to play with because the matte options just kind of suck together. So I'm gonna actually start with this one because I feel like I remember this not being like the easiest shadow to work with. It's also like kind of messed up. Let's see, where is this from? I want to say it's from Cleona. Oh, it's from Sydney Grace. It's the shade Meadow. So I think I take back what I said about this shade probably not being the most buildable because from what I remember, I really like Sydney Grace. It's been quite a while since I've played with any of their shadows. I do have some singles from her, but I don't know. I just don't reach into my singles that often. So I'm gonna just play it safe anyway and use this first and then blend it out with the lighter kind of olive-y shade here. And then I guess I'll just do some blues and greens on my lid or something like that. Just gonna pack this on in my crease where I want the shadow to be. And I think I'm also going to take this underneath my eye. This shadow is taking so much time to build up, you guys. If you knew how long I've been packing on this shadow, if you could see this in real time, I wouldn't do that to you because that would take forever, but I'm packing on so much of this shade and it's taking forever to get any kind of pigmentation. I mean, it does build, it's just taking a very, very long time. And I'm seeing some creasing under my eyes. I've been trying out the new Juvia's Place, or it's not even new, but I've been trying out the Juvia's Place concealer because a lot of you guys said that you really liked it, but I've come to realize that any kind of concealers that are more on like the hydrating side, I don't know if that one is advertised as being hydrating, but it's just too creamy for me. Like creamy concealers or like the hydrating concealers, they just crease on me. Like I really need a very, very matte kind of thick consistency concealer. Otherwise it creases like crazy. And I never even really thought that I had like that many creases under my eyes, but the more I use concealers like that, I've tried a Juvia concealer as well, and that one does the same thing. I really don't like it. Like the finish of it anywhere else is really, really nice, but like it just does not work under my eyes for me. Okay, so I feel like I've built up this green to be nice and pigmented. Now I'm next gonna go into this shade right here, which I think is from JD Glow. Yeah, this one is called Mustard. So I remember this one now from last time when I used this in my video trying out these shadows. I will link that in the corner if I can find it, but I remember saying that that should not be called a mustard because it really doesn't look like mustard. It just looks like olive. I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't like mustard and I never buy mustard, and so the only mustard shade that I ever see is like your basic yellow mustard. I don't know, but to me this is not mustard. But I'm gonna use that shade to basically blend out what I have going on here. I don't really remember how this shadow performs because I've only used it once, but we're gonna build this up and try to see if I can get something out of this. So the color of that is really, really nice. I like how it plays with that other green as well. So there's not really that much difference in the depth in these two colors. It's really just adding like a different color. I feel like this one is showing up a little bit darker on the eyes than it is in the pan, but it's still a really, really fun and different color. Like I don't have that many grungy kind of greens and mattes. So this shadow is very, very pigmented. I remember when I tried out some of the mattes from JD Glow, unfortunately, a lot of them broke. When I went home to visit my family last year for Christmas, I brought them in an empty palette, and when I got there, I somehow managed to drop the whole palette on the floor, and like so many of my shadows just shattered. I was so sad. It's so annoying when you bring something and it makes it all the way there in one piece, and then once you get there, like it's your own fault that they break. It's like, oh, come on. Like, why did I have to do that? Why couldn't it just like break on the way, you know? Because that way at least I wouldn't have to blame myself, but when I have to blame myself and I know it's my own fault, that's when it really sucks. Oh, I really like how these two colors look together. I think they look so cool. Like, I'm not sure I would have put these two colors together if it wasn't for only having these two greens to work with, because they work very nicely together. Actually better than I expected. I'm not sure what I want to do on my lid after, but I feel like I should have some pretty cool kind of greens to go with this. This might end up just being like a green look, but that's okay. I actually might even try to use like a fun lipstick today, because I was looking through my lipsticks and finding any that started with M, and I do have Mako from Menagerie. Normally I'm not the type who wears like greens and blues and stuff like that on my lips, but I thought that maybe it could be fun to just try it. And it's also kind of why I used a blue light in the background, because, you know, maybe to like encourage me to try something different. I don't know. But I'm gonna go back in with that first green that I used and just make sure that I kind of deepen up this crease a little bit and just bring back this color. This might take a little while. That is one thing that I will say about Sydney Grace, is that I feel like their shadows are very beginner friendly. I don't know if their sale has started yet. I know they usually have like a Christmas in July type of sale, where they will put discounts on a lot of different products and stuff in the month of June or July. July. Of course it's July, because it's Christmas in July. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that if you've been looking for some indie shadows that are quite easy to work with, that maybe aren't as intense and crazy pigmented as some other brands that I really like, you would probably really like Sydney Grace, because their shadows are very, like I said, very buildable and quite easy to work with. So maybe look into it if that is the brand that you've been curious about, because I do have, like I said, shadows from Sydney Grace and I do like them, but they're not my favorites, because I just prefer shadows that are a little bit more pigmented straight off the bat, because I never want my shadows to not be as pigmented as they can be. So if I can get to that point quicker, I'm a lot happier about that than if I have to spend 5 minutes building up a shadow to be very nice and intense. So I really like how my crease is looking now. I'm just going to go in with a clean fluffy brush and just kind of blend over the edges here to make sure that everything is blended before I go in with any kind of lid colors here. I'm not really sure what it is I want to do. I mean, to be fair, I will probably just do something kind of green or maybe a little bit on the blue side, but this isn't going to be any like crazy color combination that you haven't seen before. But you know what? That's okay. I don't always have to do something that's super out of the box. Sometimes it's nice to just do something that you know is going to look good. So let's take a look at all these beautiful colors here that I have to work with. So I'm thinking I want to take a little bit of this dark blue. This is from Makeup Geek, I think. I wasn't impressed by this when I tried it because it just wasn't really that intense, which is perfect if I want to deepen up the outer corner. So this one is called Medieval. I'm going to take a little bit of that one on my Refer number 2 brush, which is just kind of a packing brush, and I'm going to use that to deepen up the outer corner of my eye. I'm not going to spray this because I don't want this to be like super metallic. I just want to add in like a different color, and it's also going to make it easier to just blend into my crease a little bit. So I feel like that's doing exactly what I wanted to do here. Just gonna gently tap it into my crease to make it blended. And then I think what I want to do next to that is I want to take a little bit of, ooh, this color. Wouldn't that be so pretty? I think that's what I'm going to do. I have so many beautiful shimmers in this that it kind of hurts me that I don't have like more mattes to play with, because I could do so much with all of these shimmers. But I'm going to use this one. This one is called Mist. It's from Devinah. And I am going to use some of my NYX glitter primer with this one because I do want this to be nice and intense. Just switching to my MAC 242 brush, and I'm just gonna use that to put down that glitter primer on the first portion of my lid. And then I'm just gonna plop that same shade basically right on top of this and blend it into the outer corner shade. I might do something else in my inner corner. I haven't quite decided yet, but let's go ahead and put on this shadow first. So that's a really, really pretty color. I know this isn't like a review or anything like that, but I've never been like the biggest fan of Devinah's like regular formula. I know they have some very unique shifting shadows and stuff, but I've yet to try those. I really only have stuff from their regular line, but I haven't been like the most impressed. I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's a pretty color, but I don't feel like this is really like anything special formula-wise. So I would say if you've been maybe looking into Devinah, go for some of their more like special shadows, because they're going to deliver a little bit more punch, because this is with me using a glitter primer as well. And usually when I do that, my shadows will really pop, but I don't really feel like this is, I mean, to be fair, it probably looks a lot better on camera because of all of the lights that are hitting it in different directions. But when I look at it up close, it's not really like all that reflective and stuff. So just keep that in mind when you're watching beauty videos, to listen to what people are saying sometimes more than what you're seeing in front of you, because sometimes the lights will just make everything look more shiny and more sparkly and more dimensional than it really is in real life, because you're not walking around with beauty lights in your face all day, you know? But I feel like these are blending together like a dream. Like the blend that I have going on here looks so good. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that outer corner shade and just kind of bring this back a little bit and make sure I blend it into that lighter shade. Okay, I really, really like this. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna finish off with my eyes, just do some liner and mascara. I'm probably gonna use this one in my waterline. This one is called Mars. It's from Urban Decay. It's like a kind of dark green. I do have some other options as well. I have two from NYX here. I have one of the faux whites. It's in the shade Mint Cream. It could also go kind of nice with this look, but I think I want something a little bit darker, especially if I'm gonna go with that dark blue lipstick. I also have Midnight, which is more of a dark blue. Maybe that could be kind of nice too, but I almost feel like it'll be a little bit too dark for like the rest of the eye look. So I think I'm gonna go with the one from Urban Decay instead. This one was called Mars, like I said. So I'm gonna put this in my waterline, do some liner and mascara. I'll be back. We can finish off with the face and the lips, because I still have a lot more products that I want to put on my face. Alright, so I think the eyes are all done. I am missing a little bit of something in my inner corner, but we're gonna fix that with highlight. But first, I do want to do a little bit of blush. Actually, maybe I was gonna say, let's do some more bronzer, but I don't really think I need it with the blush color that I'm going to be using. So I'm gonna take one of my blushes from the Morphe 8W palette. I have one in here that is called MUA. It's this one. It kind of looks like a bit of a bronzer shade, but a little warmer. So I figured we could kind of use that as both a blush and a bronzer kind of thing. I do have a little bit of cream bronzer on under my powder, but I mean, you can't really see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, like I said, use this as both. I don't think I've ever used this color before, but I also feel like it's gonna go very nicely with this look, because if I were to like pick my own blush color to go with something like this look that I'm wearing, I would probably honestly do something on the orange side or something very similar to what I'm using now. So I feel like this is going to work very well. And I just realized that I forgot to put on my freckles. Maybe I will do a little bit of freckles just over the top of this after I'm done. I do usually prefer doing my freckles before I put on any kind of cheek products, because I just find them to, I don't know, look more natural. I hate that word, but I just feel like they look a little better when I have products layered on top of the freckles and not having the freckles be on top of everything else. So I think this looks quite nice. I'm gonna go over this with my powder brush just a little bit here to tone this down, and then I'm gonna go in with the freckles. Even if this has nothing to do with the letter M, I'm just gonna use it anyway. This is my Lime Crime Freckle pen. It's in the shade Amber. I also bought the darker one, but I figured I would use that in a video with you guys so you can maybe see the difference. And I also just feel like with the tan that I have, it's going to work fine with a bit of a darker color too. And I could also mix the two colors to make it look like my freckles aren't all the same, you know? Freckles are just so cute. I just can't help it. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that blush now and just kind of go over this a little bit. I should probably wait for this to dry, huh? So I don't like smear it all over the place. So I think this looks good for the cheeks. For my highlighter, I got very lucky because again, I get to use my Odense Cosmetics Solmåne palette, and I'm gonna grab the shade called Måne, which is the yellow one, and it is my favorite in this palette. I just love this, and I just think that a yellow highlight is going to look really nice with this look. Oh, just look at that. I just love this highlighter so much. It is so beautiful. I thought about using Moon Cruiser, I think it's called, from Kaleidos too. It's like that kind of lavendery one, but I really wanted something that would like go with this look a little bit more, even if I am going to use a blue lipstick. I just felt like a purple highlighter maybe it wasn't the best. If I had the blue one from Kaleidos, maybe I would use it, but I don't know. I just really like having a yellow highlighter. I cannot help it. I'm also going to take a little bit of this highlighter in my inner corner. Man, this is so intense. Just pop a little bit of that right here. I find it so funny that in all of these like alphabet videos I end up having a green or a blue look, but it's just because it's one of the single colors that I buy the most because I just love greens and blues. So let's see, is there anything else left to do except for lips? I think not. I'm gonna pop this on my lips and we can see how it looks. I'm not sure I'm going to love it, but let's try it. You know, I feel like I never do fun lipsticks anymore and I want to change that, especially now that I'm just sitting at home anyway. Like, what's the point in not having fun, you know? Alright, so I am committed to this now because when I take this off, my lips are going to look stained for the rest of the day, so I'm just stuck with blue lipstick, but honestly, I kind of love it. Let me know what you think. How do you feel about these kind of crazy lipstick colors? I've worn blue in the past before too, and it's like, I kind of think it just looks really cool. I also want to kind of get a little bit more comfortable with using black because I just find a black lipstick looks so cool on everybody, and I want to be one of those people who I feel like can pull off a black lipstick. So that's going to be it for my M letters. Let me know how you feel about this look. This is probably one of my favorite looks that I've done in this series because I feel like a lot of the time they just end up being like crazy because of the color stories are so limited, but I really like this and I'm excited to film some more videos now, so that is what I'm going to do. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching my video as always. If you want to see some other ones in this series, I will leave my playlist on the screen so you can go check those out, and if you're new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.